Get a load of tech. Upload, download, reload with TechLoad. Updates, news, tech experts. Get tech ahead. Drive Tech. 6 to 7 every Wednesday with Sandra Spencer here on 88.3 Southern FM.
And welcome to Tech Load. Sandra Spencer here, lined up for you for the next hour. Tech headlines, news, info, music, and insights into the world of the future of education. Will education become automated with robots replacing teachers? Can teachers, in fact, be replaced? How will robots in the classroom improve teaching and learning? Coming up, futurist educators teaching 21st century skills and discussing whether teachers can be replaced by robots. We'll be with you shortly.
Braid it, charge it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, melt, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip unzip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, code it, jump and lock it, surf it, scroll it, pose it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, read it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, start, format it. Technologic, 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 technologic. Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip unzip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, code it, jump and lock it, surf it, scroll it, pose it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, read it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, start, format it, buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip unzip it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, start, format it. Touch it, scroll it, pose it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it. Surf it, scroll it, pose it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, read it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, start, format it, buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip unzip it, surf it, scroll it, pose it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, read it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, start, format it, buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip unzip it, surf it, scroll it, pose it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, read it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it. Technologic, 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 technologic.
sounds of the Bayside. 88.3 Southern FM.
And you were tuned in to Tech Load. And in the studio is Mel Smith, Head of Brighton Junior Campus at Furbank Grammar, and Andrew Dobbin, Digital Technology Specialist and STEM Teacher. And on the studio line, we have Gareth Benson, IP Specialist and Purpose-Driven Educator. So let's just say a first hi to Mel. Hi, Mel.
Hello there.
What's your backstory?
So I'm the head of the junior school at the Fairbank Brighton Junior Campus. And I mean, amongst many other things, the reason I guess we're here talking today is because my backstory involves a real passion for STEM. So that's the concept of the science, technology, engineering and mathematics, and about how all of those subject areas come together. And I think probably my passion lies in the significance of teaching those skills, particularly to, in our situation, we're based in the junior campus. So particularly, really, I guess, taking that passion and sharing it with children from as young as 3 years old.
Wow, that's a big brief. And Andrew, Digital Technology Specialist and STEM Educator, what's your backstory?
Yeah, I guess my backstory is that I've taught at Furbank Grammar for 9 years. I teach digital technologies. I can see the engagement in the students with using technology, and in the STEM area, bringing the different subject areas together and bringing projects and seeing the skill development.
Wow. And Gareth, what is your backstory? Hi there. What's your backstory in terms of your passion for the purpose of education?
Well, thanks, Sandra. Yeah, I'm a purpose-driven educator, also an IP lawyer, and I have been working through these issues in the last few years. I mean, I'm based in the Northern Territory, where I'm working with some Indigenous organisations around education matters. And one of the things that constantly comes up for me is the importance of identity in the future of education and work. And I believe while it's fantastic to have these discussions about STEM and where technology can take us, I'm also very interested in human purpose and the importance of that in the future of education.
Okay. And so if we look at the future of work, what are your ideas, Andrew, on the future of work and education?
No, look, I think the possibilities are endless, and I think that's what we try to communicate to the children, not restricting, allowing them to be creative, teaching a problem-solving, solution-focused mindset, and allowing them to have the skills to be able to be innovators in the future.
Mm. And Mel, what are your thoughts on the future of work and education?
Yeah, I think the concept, we keep talking about the future of work being constantly changing, and we keep quoting people talking about how fast the world is changing. We can't predict what the future will be like. So I think really in terms of preparing our young people for the future of work, it is about recognising that adaptability, to be prepared and to be living each day not knowing what's coming next. And I think last year was probably the prime example of actually that concept of being flexible and being adaptable. And as Andrew mentioned, that concept of being a problem solver to actually get through all of those challenges. So the future of work, we're ready for it, whatever it may look like.
Does anyone think that robots can be spontaneous? I came across this earlier today. Can robots be spontaneous?
It's a good question. I'm not quite sure we're there yet with the concept of a spontaneous robot. Maybe we are educating the children that are going to create that spontaneous robot of the future.
Your
we'll
thoughts?
have the Spontaneous Comedy Festival, International Robotic Comedy Festival for spontaneous gags, perhaps in the future.
Yeah, anything's possible. And Mel, do you think that you could be replaced in the classroom by a robot?
Yeah, it's an interesting idea, the concept of teachers being replaced. I think we're a long way from that moment. I certainly think that robots have a place in the near future in education, but in terms of replacing the teacher, particularly when we look at what makes up the junior school and the concept of an early years teacher, it's those most human characteristics, the ability to respond to individuals, the ability to recognise emotions and well-being as being critical factors in learning. I'm not sure we're in a place where robots are ready to do that just yet.
And how human are you, Andrew, in the classroom?
I like to think the students think I'm human. I agree with what Mel said. So it's showing those qualities of empathy and creativity. I think we're a long way off yet, but who knows the possibilities? And look, we're here to teach the students skills, 21st century skills, and they could be innovators in the future. So who knows where it'll go.
Gareth, do you think you could be replaced in terms of...
look, sure, I think we're all, replaceable, and we need to replace ourselves, so to speak. What I love about this discussion so far is that we're talking about skills, STEM skills to begin with. We're also talking about human skills. I think it's really about the marriage of these things. And let's not forget, robots or not, that we as human beings have been using tools for a long time. And that's how I see robots and whatever you conceptualize them to be, is that they are tools driven by humans. And that essentially we need to find our humanity to drive those tools. And that is the big opportunity that exists in the future of education, working with education and technology in a humane way.
And can they be, how will we look to integrate technology and humans in education for the future, Mel?
Yeah, I think that's the crux of this conversation, is looking at how we do that integration. Like I said before, it's about really targeting children from as young as 3. And, at our school this year, we have a particular focus on, we've called it the Year of Curiosity. And we know that everything stems from curiosity. And we know that children are born with this innate sense of curiosity without us intervening whatsoever. They have this curiosity. And it's that curiosity that allows them to find issues or to find situations that are worth exploring. And then it's up to us to actually help skill them up and give them the tools to actually apply technology to make the world a better place. So to take these curious moments and really see how we can apply skills to make them better.
I absolutely love that. When I saw that on the email today, I thought, it's the Year of Curiosity. I thought, wow. But that is a Furbank grammar thing, right?
Yeah, so that's, we have a whole set of values, and we have, whilst all the values are important all of the time, each year we have a really explicit focus on on a particular year. This year being the Year of Curiosity is all around provoking thinking, and then looking at what particular skills or what knowledge we need in order to, I guess, dig deeply into ideas and make the most of it. And like I said, our young people are already curious. That's the easy part. They already, I think, as we get older, we become less and less curious. So we're often, it's almost the flip side. They're the ones teaching us.
That's right. And if we look at adults, they can easily lose their curiosity and, in a sense, lose their purpose. In terms of the work that you do on purpose, Gareth, and your interest in that with education, how can children that become adults not lose their curiosity? Gareth?
Yeah, well, I'm a big believer in purpose in everything that we do, and I think it's really imperative in the future of education to remain focused on that. I have, looked at the history of education as where it's come from, which was, began around the Industrial Revolutions, and I believe that we are fundamentally well entrenched in the 4th Industrial Revolution, and the thing that will prepare people for the change that both Mel and Brad have alluded to is, yes, curiosity, and ensuring that all of us have a rich sense of purpose in what we're doing. That is a map to guide us through change, and that's about self-knowledge, and I think we shouldn't lose sight of that in being able to navigate change.
Yeah. Andrew, how do you foster in the classroom, with advancing technological skill, how do you keep the curiosity going and really see the results from the students that you work with?
I guess children do have an inbuilt curious mind, so it's about harnessing that. We introduce projects, and then we bring different skill sets from our STEM curriculum, so from science, technology, engineering and mathematics. We bring skill sets from those different areas, and they're required to use those to complete the project. So an example of that is a project that we do with the Year 3-4 students. So they use the Lego Mindstorm kits. They build a little robot, and that robot's to achieve a mission. So the mission relates to real-world problems or real-world activities that happen. So the mission is to rescue a person, but we use like a can of Coke with sand in it, dress it up. So they've got to rescue a person out of a chemical spill. So they're building a robot, they're programming the robot to achieve a certain mission, and we relate that to the police and the army and bomb disposal. So they bring in the engineering side of things by building the robot and designing the robot and using their creativity to do that. We bring in the coding skills and the programming for them to program the robot to follow a set path. We bring in maths and formulas and angles and a whole range of different skills from the maths area. And then we create a little bit of competition. We have a house competition, so they compete who's the most efficient, who's created the best design. So they love that. They love the ability, the open-ended project. They love the ability to be able to be creative and design, and then having a little bit of competition in there spurs them on.
Mm. And do you think that is there anything that you aren't able to do with the classes at the moment that you think a robot would be able to do at this point in time? Like if there was unlimited budget and if there was possibilities, would you put a robot in the room to assist you?
I'd like it to do my photocopying.
There you go.
Yes, I think probably there's a few background jobs in the work of a teacher that a robot could do quite successfully. But like we said, I think at this moment in time, those most human skills about connecting with students, that sense of community and that sense of collaboration that comes from a human teacher, I think we're at the point where I'm not exactly sure, even with endless amounts of money, I'm not sure I'd replace Andrew or any one of our teachers with a robot. I think at the moment... Yeah, you're safe for the moment, Andrew.
Yeah, it is. And yet so many jobs won't be around even in the next year, next 2 years, next 5 years. We're going through such rapid changes. And even like Gareth's on the line, law and the legal areas being particularly hard hit.
Oh, yeah. I'm replaceable.
Yeah, and
some people will be relieved to know. I mean,
that and accountants.
The blockchain.
And I think that's the world
contract.
we're preparing our students for. Well, so these projects that Andrew's talking about, it's actually equipping our students with the skills so that they recognise that many of the jobs that we know so well at the moment will be replaced by the time our students are graduating and entering the workforce. So it's really about keeping all pathways open. So our really big emphasis on the STEM skills as much as the STEM content and the STEM knowledge is very much about keeping, particularly from a young age, keeping those pathways open. And it's not about, shunting every student into a STEM pathway, but we do know that the STEM careers that are possible in the future far outweigh many of the other careers that are being replaced by technology. So it is about every experience that we're carefully thinking through so that they're prepared for that world. Yeah. And as Andrew mentioned before, it's capitalising on things like imagination and creativity, because we know they're those most human skills that cannot be replaced by a robot. So everything we're doing in regards to technology is around looking at problems, using imagination and creativity and that high technical capability and a rigorous, I guess it's about planning a rigorous program from the 3-year-olds all the way through the school to actually have a developmental sequence so they've got the skills to apply.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Sandra?
And I guess it's not getting bogged down with teaching technology. It's not teaching devices. It's about using the tools to add value to what we want them to do. But it's also teaching those problem-solving skills. So as those skills can be adaptable, teaching them resilience, teaching them to be adjustable thinkers, and then that skill set can be taken to any career, or any job in the future, even if it doesn't exist at the moment.
So it's interesting, isn't it? What are your thoughts, Gareth, on creativity and imagination and technology, and how important? Because Gareth, you do IP. An IP expert specialist. You're looking at people's plans and blueprints and their value and how you can protect those rights. How do you see creativity and imagination and technology together, and how important they are when we think that they might be very paradoxical?
Yeah, well, look, I think it goes back to what I mentioned before, is that look, first of all, intellectual property, I see it is identity, and creativity and expressions of ourselves actually call to our identity, and I think we can never trade that away for a career or an opportunity, whether it's STEM or any one of the new jobs that will be created. And I feel that there has to be a balance between our identity and also just using technology as a tool to further those pursuits of the human condition that amplify our identity. The end result to that is that we create new things and new IP, which can create new opportunities and new industries. And that's the human journey that we've actually been on for many thousands of years.
Yeah, totally.
And that they are all, that it's not one and the other. It's not our binary brains that think that we need this over this. That we need an integrated approach, and I think the complexity of our world that children are entering, and we indeed are living through, requires us to have an integrated approach of all these things. But the centre of it all should be human.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the changes that we have to changes that normally would take 1 or 2 generations is taking like half a generation. So we're all seeing a lot more changes a lot quicker, and there's only one way we have to adapt. Mel and Andrew, what are your thoughts on where do you think the jobs in the future may lie, and what areas do you think your children will grow up, that you educate will grow up, and what will they be creating, and what areas do you think?
I guess that's the exciting element. It's unpredictable. We don't know. I wouldn't even want to hazard a guess at where the future may lay, and it depends whether we're looking short-term future or well into the distant future. But what we do know is that the world, as Gareth was talking about, is this complex environment that typically schools have perhaps focused on single subject areas, and schools were very much designed around, and as Gareth was saying before, in the Industrial Revolution era, schools were very much designed around a single subject area, and you learnt mathematics in isolation to learning science, in isolation to engineering. I think that the world that we're going into is this complex web of interrelated ideas. So it is this concept of STEM is about how those explicit subject areas relate to one another. And it's in educational terms, we talk about it in terms of this transdisciplinary learning. It's where all these subjects play out with each other. So we take these situations in the world and I guess make sense of them and make them better by a little bit of maths, a little bit of science, a little bit of design process thinking, a little bit of those concepts that come through engineering and actually make a difference. And Andrew was alluding to it before. It's that concept of problem solving, but also layered with the ability to be a risk taker. We talk about this year at Fairbank being the year of curiosity. We also have a year of courage. So it's about that idea of being courageous enough to give something a go and to follow through a really careful design process so that it's actually reflecting on what's being created. Did it work? No, maybe not the first time. And recognising and giving the children the resilience to know that whatever you try probably won't work the first time. And it might not be the right even type of technology that you've applied the first time, but it's about working on these projects over a long time frame too. So you've got the opportunity to perhaps fail at something, reevaluate it, try something new, and along the way learn some new technology that might actually solve the problem in another way. So I couldn't agree more when Gareth talks about this complex world that we've got at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like there'll be a lot of ongoing education for everyone.
Well, look, and that's a great point. What I loved about what you said there, Mel, was like Henry Matisse. Matisse was, of course, a great artist who lived through a different era, but he once said, all creativity takes courage. And that's the ability in all of our lives to really be courageous, as you say, and embark on the journey of risk, because there is actually a lot of reward for that. And I believe that there's a sort of a mythology we all can live by, in which we can all become heroes in our own lives, and that requires us to be courageous in really seeking ourselves calling on ourselves to follow our own bliss through our passions, despite the uncertainty.
That's right, and totally sticking together. Yeah, and sticking together because we're working as a collective, and for there to be individualism, but also a collective purpose. And we're going to go around the world. Well, are we?
Victoria, every test we take
helps us protect everything we've achieved.
And keeps us safe.
Every test helps us feel sure about that sniffle.
Keep catching up with mates. Go to work safely.
And keep doing the things we love.
So even if your symptoms are mild,
Or you've been tested before.
Every test helps.
For testing locations, visit coronavirus.vic.gov.au.
Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
I love being a grandparent.
Papa, can I have more red cordial?
All the fun and no responsibility.
Can I have more chocolate?
Yeah, sure.
Yay!
More is better.
Can we go swimming unsupervised?
I might be silly, girls, but I'm not stupid. Always remember, fence the pool, shut the gate. Teach your kids to swim, it's great. Supervise, watch your mate and learn how to resuscitate. I'm Laurie Lawrence. Kids alive, do the 5. Now, who wants popcorn for dinner?
Yay!
Space. What is it?
Where is it?
What's out there?
Who's out there?
What are we doing in space and why?
If you've ever wondered about space and space flight, then tune into The Space Show every Wednesday between 7 and 8 p.m.